Hi parents and students, I'm teacher Hidayah from Genius Young Minds, and here I have 21 tips and tricks for fraction which your child can use to score great marks for their PSLE Math exam or any math exam that matters. This tips and tricks is good for all levels, for primary 1 all the way to primary 6. So do watch this video with your child, go through the tips and tricks with them, and then ensure that they actually follow through the videos and try it out at home. Alright, please like and share this video so that other parents and students can benefit as well. Alright, enjoy the videos. Okay, here's tip number 1, the KCF method, where you are going to use it during division of fractions. So you can see here there are two fractions, 1/4 and 3/4. 1/4 divided by 3/4. So what do we keep, what do we change, and what do we flip? We keep the first fraction, okay, the 1/4. We change the sign of division to multiplication, and then we flip the 3/4. Okay, so this is how it looks like. We keep this, so 1/4. We change the sign, times, and then we flip this. Okay, so this is 4/3. Then what do we do next? Alright, so I always tell my students to look crosswise. So crosswise means to look at 1 and 3, see whether they can simplify, and then 4 and 4, whether they can be simplified. So 4 and 4 can be simplified, so divided by 4 is 1, divided by 4 is 1. Then we look row-wise, top row and bottom row. So we have 1 times 1 is 1, and then 1 times 3 is 3. Answer is 1/3. Okay, this is tip number 2 for fraction. So we have Adam is 1/3 of Lisa. This is a very common statement in fraction sums or problem sums. So if you have this kind of question, you have to know that number 1, 1/3 is a fraction in its simplest form. So if it's a fraction in its simplest form, it is already in its units form. Okay, which means this is 1 unit, this is 3 units. Okay, so 1 unit, which is actually the numerator, the first number, represents the first person, and then 3 units, which is the denominator, represents the second person, Lisa. So Adam have 1 unit, Lisa have 3 units. Here's tip number 3. So we have this kind of statement for fractions question. 1/4 of A is equal to 3/5 of B. A fraction of something equal to a fraction of another thing. Alright, so whenever you have this kind of statement, okay, or this kind of sentence in a question, straight away think of equal concept. Why? Because of the keyword equal to. So if you have equal concept, as I mentioned earlier, fractions in its simplest form is already in its units form. So this is 1 unit, this is 4 unit, this is 3 unit, this is 5 units. For equal concept, you have to identify where is the part and where is the total. Okay, so which means we are going to draw out this kind of box, and then we put A and we put B this way. Okay, alright, so we see here the top, the numerator is the part, denominator always refers to the total. Same goes here, this is the part and this is the total. Alright, so which means here A, the part is 1 unit, total is 4 units. For B, the part is 3 units and the total is 5 units. And you know that for this kind of question, the part must be equal. Numerator have to be equal, which means here and here have to be the same. In this case, they are not the same. Alright, there's 1 and 3. What do I do to 1? I times 3 to make it become 3. Okay, so here is 3 units. Whatever I do to the part, the total will be affected. Whatever I do to the row here, the box in the row, the next box in the same row will be the same. So here is 12 units. Okay, now from there you can solve the question. Okay, here's tip number 4 for fraction. Express 3/8 as a decimal. The trick here is that whenever you have this kind of fraction, or any fraction for that matter, you have to change the denominator to either a 10 100 or 1000. So for this case, 8, right, we change it to 1000. So which means 3 over 8, we change the denominator to 1000, means we are going to times it with 1, 2, 5. Whatever you do to the denominator, the numerator will have to do the same. Here also times 1, 2, 5. So I will get 375 over 1000. So 1000 means 3 decimal places, so it's 0.375. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. Understand? Okay, here's tip number 5 for fractions. Okay, so when you have multiplication of fractions like that, 2 over 5 times 10 over 14, first step is to look crosswise, which means this way. Second step is to look row-wise, the top and the bottom row. Okay, so for this question, let's look crosswise. So we have 2 and 14, 5 and 10. 2 and 14, okay, so which means 2 and 14 can be divided by each other. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then 5 and 10, 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. Then we look row-wise. Top row is 1 times 2, 2. Bottom row, 1 times 7 is 7. So answer is 2 over 7. But in any case, if this fraction can be simplified further, then from here onwards, you divide both numerator and denominator by the same number, and then you have the simplified fraction. Okay, here's tip number 6 for fractions. When you have this kind of fraction where you have a mixed number times an improper fraction, make sure you change the mixed number to be an improper fraction first before applying the multiplication of fraction method. So which means change 3.5 to improper fraction. You take 2 times 3 plus 1. So 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So that is 7 over 2 times 5 over 2. Now let's look crosswise. 7 and 2, 5 and 2. Nothing can be simplified. So now we look row-wise. 7 times 5 is 35. 2 times 2 is 4. So from here, if the question requires you to change to mixed number, you change it back to mixed number. If the question just asks you to leave it as it is, then you just leave it as an improper fraction. Here's tip number 7 for fractions. So if you have an improper fraction divided by a mixed number, same, change the mixed number to be improper fraction first before applying the division of fraction method. So 2 and 1/5 change to improper, 5 times 2 plus 1. So it will be 5 over 3 divided by 5 times 2 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11 over 5. Then we apply the method of division of fraction, which is KCF. We keep this, we change this, and we flip this. So we keep 5 over 3, we change the sign, and we flip 5 over 11, like that. Okay. Then crosswise, see whether they can be simplified crosswise. Nothing. Row-wise, 5 times 5 is 25 over 3 times 11 is 33. So we leave the answer as that because we cannot simplify it further. Okay, this is tip number 8 for fractions. So usually we have confusion between this kind of fraction where we have 1 over 5 kilogram or any other units. Maybe it can be liters, cm, meters, or grams even, okay, versus 1 over 5 of each. So you have to inform your child that these two kinds of fraction is different and they get very confused. Okay, you have to indicate or tell your child that this is kg, so circle the units for that kind of fraction, which means this is 1 over 5 kg. So if I want to change it to grams, I can, so which is 1 over 5 times 1000 gram, like that. Okay, so which means this is 200 grams. Example. So this is actually a fraction on its own, a fraction which tells me this is the value of the, maybe the box, the can, or anything, or the container. Okay, but if I have 1 over 5 of it, this it always refer to an item, okay? Maybe marbles, maybe beads, or maybe boxes, alright? So 1/5 of it, usually they will give us a value for this, okay? So in this case, if the it is 20 beads, so this is actually 1/5 of its times it is 20, like that. Or if your child do not understand that, you can always draw out your model, which is total is always the denominator, which is 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I actually, maybe 1 unit is spent. I spend 1/5 of it. So I shade 1. So this is 1 unit which is spent. And I have the balance of 4 units. Total of 5 units. You get it? Right? The difference is that this is actually a fraction that identify the value, which is actually with the unit 1/5 kilogram, 1/5 liters, cm or meter. But in this case, this is actually a unit representation of a value, right? Okay, tip number 9. Whenever you have this kind of statement or phrase for fraction, 3/4 of, this of refers to times, okay? So this is 3/4 times 20. So you can make them rewrite this way, okay, over 1, and then you can apply the multiplication of fraction method. Okay, tip number 10. For this kind of question in fraction, very popular kind of question for your paper 1, section A or section B, or booklet A or booklet B. How many 1/8 in 3 whole? Example. So 1/8 is 1/8. 3 wholes is 3. So what do? We actually take 3 whole is actually 3/1. How many 1/8 are there? You just change the denominator to the denominator of what they want. In this case is 8, right? So I change this to 8. Here also must times the same. So 3 times 8 is 24/8. How many 1/8 are there in 3 wholes? Answer is your numerator. So there are 24 1/8 in 3 wholes.